Right, so this is episode 2 of
This Is Not a Joke podcast.
Myself, Philip Steels, and
myself, Terry Markey.
So,
or as Irish people say, Terry Markey.
Well, as people in Sligo would say, Terry Markey.
Terry Markey.
Terry Markey.
Your man with the hair.
It's the fella with the artsy hair.
I said that to them. You know, I said that to them. I said that to the hairdresser. I was like, I want my hair arty. She was like, okay. I'm like, what the fuck was that? What have you done?
I wanted to start by just saying thank you to. So we have a coffee sponsor, which is sports specific performance. So SSP in Sligo. So he's kindly sponsored the coffee and the scones. Darren Cole, thanks very much. Show that again there, Terry, go on. So he does all different specific sports programs for people, and he would have helped a bunch of us with the Warriors run. The main sponsor for the room then would be tap2tip.io. So they're the ones who sponsored us for the room today. We shout out to them.
Fair play to you, lads.
Will we get on with this podcast?
Let's get on with this podcast.
So it's the second one that we've done. It's the second one, and we've moved up in the world.
Yeah, we're big time now. That's it. We've finally figured out how to turn on the microphone. That was a moment. You asked me what was one of those moments that you had in your life. I've just had one, my friend. It was like, why is this microphone not working? Like trying to explain to your granny how to use the skybox over the phone. Push the button. What button? The button on the remote control. It's wet. It shouldn't be wet. Why is it wet? I don't know.
Yeah, and we were. I suppose we were too proud to ask anybody. We were almost too proud to Google it.
That's where we are. Listen, we're alpha males. We don't ask Google. Google asks every now and again. Google will ring me up. Every hour, like, Google, get off the phone with you if you want to know something.
Yeah. Google asks Chuck Norris, that kind of a thing. Yeah. Like, I suppose, we covered some funny stuff the last time.
Well, we went about talking about entering into comedy, what that was like, how we went about it, what it was like for us, and maybe doing the first few gigs that we did, you know?
Yeah.
I thought it was an interesting conversation because creativity is something that everybody does and everybody can access. And it's only really until you start the ball rolling. It's like when people say, I can't draw. And like I'd be of the opinion, everybody can draw, you know?
Yeah.
Like I have a background in visual art. But it's just about having the confidence to do it. And comedy's the same. It's not about whether you think you're funny or not. It's about giving yourself permission to be funny and getting up and doing it, you know? And you really can't teach that. You know, that's like one of those things, you know, when you hear about comedians say you have to gig, right? Yeah. But it's one of those things. And the reason why you have to gig is because you can't teach that.
Yeah.
You only really get it by doing it. I suppose it's like, you know, you can read about riding a bicycle, but until you're on a bicycle, you know, you're never going to learn how to do it.
Yeah.
And that kind of live interaction is a lot like that.
Yeah.
And like that... It's beautiful, really, you know. And you get, you know, there's a kind of like a split in comedy, which is interesting and inevitable. But people who come from Instagram and like are kind of like online comedians, and then they do things live and they get into great shows, really great shows, but they haven't done the groundwork.
Yeah.
Now they play catch up and they can do it, and it works. But you can tell the difference, I think.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Yeah, you really can. And I think if you're coming to a gig not prepared, you can feel it in the 15 minutes before you're not prepared. Myself, I start jittering around.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Changing lines, and I think you need to be in some way bulletproof.
Totally has to be bulletproof.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say that online people are not prepared, because like I could rhyme off about 10 of those comedians that are absolutely smashing it and really good. But there's a slight difference, you know?
Yeah.
It's just a different route, isn't it? Some of us take the bus and some of us get a taxi, you know?
I'm one of these. I have a tendency that if I'm coming through the door and I hear somebody saying something funny and I think I can use that as a joke, I'll start off with what that person has said 5 minutes before my set. That buoyancy I try and bring into it, and it's dangerous, but sometimes it can work.
It was an interesting thing the other night. We did a gig in Strandhill and I was following Julie, right? And it's the best compliment I can pay somebody. But it's a kind of a funny psychological thing.
Yeah.
That when you're following someone who's smashing the room,
Yeah.
it makes you really nervous.
Absolutely, yeah.
So she was absolutely killing that room, and I was next, and I was like, oh no. Like she's having a great time, my friend.
Fail, Julie.
Yeah, I know.
Fail.
Yeah, she's my friend.
Just for the last 2 minutes.
Yeah, she's my friend, and she's having a great time. And I'm looking at her going, "Oh no!"
She was amazing that night.
So funny, you know. So very friendly room, very very friendly room.
Yeah, at Strand Hill. We have to give a shout out to Shells at this point. Gina Miles and Shells allowed us to run that gig there, and I mean they turned effectively what was a really really busy cafe by day into like
A venue.
a venue at night. I mean, and they lined all the seats up, and the staff were lovely, and it couldn't have really been better.
No, it was great.
How many do you think we fit in there?
I don't know what it was. Was it 40?
Yeah, it was a nice crowd anyway.
Yeah.
Wow, it was a nice crowd.
Yeah, but it's an interesting psychological position to take, isn't it?
Yeah.
When you're watching somebody. And the reverse is true as well. When someone's bombing, you feel good. You know? It's funny, isn't it? But purely on a personal level, because you know, if the crowd is like so desperate,
Yeah.
people go to comedy gigs to laugh, generally, right? Most people go to laugh, right? They're not going there to be obstreperous. They're going there to kind of play the game and have fun with you.
Yeah.
So they want to laugh. And when somebody's bombing, it's awkward for everybody. So when someone comes on and delivers the most basic joke that works, they're ready for it. They're roaring with laughter, you know?
Yeah. I think take for example that Strand Hill gig, the energy that was in the room and the crowd made it easy.
Friendly room. Yeah, that's what I mean by that. Yeah.
And I think, in my opinion, they're the moments you have to be brave. You have to try something because you've got the energy of the crowd. They're working with you. They're going. You're doing your set, but you know, try and get something in there as well.
Yeah.
How do you think the $3 left done there?
Smashed it.
They were deadly,
that
weren't
gig.
they?
Yeah, smashed it. Absolutely brilliant. It was like some sort of weird magic. But Peter Cassidy came on, and it is Cassidy, isn't it?
Yeah, Peter.
French
Toast. Yeah, killed it.
It was magic. Like from nowhere.
They love that guy.
120 people.
They love that guy. But he's an energy builder, and I was watching him closely, and I was like, if I can just take 5% of what he's done into a gig, I can build the energy. And I did, and I started, you know, doing some warm ups because it's all new to me. No one's teaching me how to do it. It's only yourselves, like. So yeah, it's amazing, just that little bit of crowd interaction and simple stuff.
I wouldn't quite say French toast is simple now. You'll have to say that to him. They go to the gig tomorrow night. I'll tell him on your mouth. Hey, French toast! You see your man there with the glasses? He says you're simple.
Yeah, he'd probably give me a rear neck joke then. Did you know that guy is actually a BJJ practitioner?
No way!
Yeah,
is he really?
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Yeah, I think he's a blue or purple belt.
Yeah.
He competes. You see.
Way.
Don't judge a book by the cover. And also,
listen, he's in a bit of an animal himself now.
Shout out to the boys. The boys have done a 5 for 5 challenge. There was a lodge. There's a lodge being built down in Cong, County Mayo, Daisy Lodge, for cancer for kids. And Stephen Cowboy and French Toast Stephen done the 5 marathons. He done the full 5 marathons 5 days in a row.
Jesus.
And French Toast accompanied him. And 5 marathons in 5 days. And to look at the boys, you wouldn't think.
No.
You know, but they're fit and they're trained. And there was a lovely young lad named Jack. I give him a shout out. Yeah, so there was a team of them on that actually. There was Jack, who was doing the drone footage and all the camera work. There was a gentleman in a car staying in front of Stephen the whole time. There was another 2 people stop and take a photo. There was a big team of people to do that. But then obviously the man himself had to do 42 kilometres. Yeah.
Jesus.
Who else is up and coming on the comedy scene? And I'm interested particularly in we were having a chat about the quality of some of the female comedians in Ireland.
Taran O'Sullivan. She's absolutely brilliant.
She's one to watch.
Smashes it. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Like she's got something that people just, that kind of energy she brings to the room.
Yeah.
Every single time. where it's just like, high quality comedian, she's going to get that laugh there,
Yeah, yeah.
But Dara McKenna, absolutely on fire, has been on fire for about 6 months.
Yeah.
Ever since I've seen her start doing comedy, she's not just progressed, she's without doubt probably my favourite female comedian at the moment,
Very consistent.
And Julie's killing it, Heidi's killing it.
And all these people have jobs and stuff in between, so they're doing they're doing really, really well to be able to work on the comedy and
apart from Jay Starlet, he's state funded, deep state funded by America.
He's an easy job, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's like I don't know, civil servant. I think he sleeps under a table somewhere.
11 to 4 or something, isn't it? Poor Jay.
Poor old Jay. I'm only joking.
We've been lucky enough to have these guys come and do a little bit with us.
That's creativity, man. You need a place, you need an audience, but if you build it, it will come. It's kind of true,
Yeah.
Once you start something, at the very least, I was saying this to somebody, one of my friends, like the amount of artists I know who don't make art is unbelievable. Like, I know it's such a funny thing to say, but all these people, it's like who are kind of, they're kind of downtrodden artists. And it's like, well, what have you done this week?
Yeah.
And that's a bad thing to say. You're not allowed to say that.
Yeah.
But what did you do this week? And if you consistently make work, you'll get somewhere for it. Same with art, same with comedy. You have to take a pragmatic approach to it as well.
Yeah.
You have to make work, and you also have to do it. You have to do the gigs. You have to turn. It's like you have to do it with the money as well. Like, I probably get €15 for last night's work.
Yeah. Do you have to invoice them?
But you switch into that mindset so easily. It's so funny. And it's just like, I'd be like, 2 hours, that's okay. 2 hours, not too bad.
Yeah.
2.5 hours, like driving to Dublin for a gig. 2.5 is kind of like, I will do it occasionally, but it's a bit too far.
But it's the anticipation of the hassle of driving to Dublin and meeting traffic and the whole thing of getting in at a certain time and getting out.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's more about the idea of it being hard as
life on the road.
Yeah,
as a semi-professional amateur comedian.
Yeah. Well, you're on the road already, Terry, yourself and your own.
My van driving.
Yeah, you're on.
I'm an experienced van driver at this stage.
You're good. You're good at it.
I'm telling you. I'm surly. I smell of piss. I eat lots of breakfast rolls the whole time. Bring back beeping at women. I say that. I know it's so controversial. It really kills me that I'm not allowed to do that. I do it in like the purest. It's nothing sexual about it. Just beep beep. I love your confidence.
Yeah. Funny story about my own reminded me of an ex of mine actually. When I was 18, 19, 20, and around that age, I was dating this girl in Sligo, and she'd met everybody in the family. And she says to me one day, "Do you know, Philip?" She says, "I never met your dad." And I said, "Well, yeah. Look, I mean, if you wanna meet him, we can. It's a 40-minute drive. It's a bit awkward." She goes, "No, well," she goes, "it'd be worth the drive." So we drove up anyway, and we're going through sort of Green Gates, up a little ramp through Green Gates, and we park, and then we're walking out to another set of gates, and two security guys come out. I said, "Who are you looking for?" And I gave the name of my dad, and they said, "Okay, come on in this way." And she says to me, "Are they very nice? Them men that they escort you in?" And I said, "Yeah, they're lovely."
Yeah, unless you're trying to leave.
So we sit down. Dad comes out. We're having a cup of coffee, and it's very basic, and there's a pool table there. I said, "That's handy, they can play pool." So we leave again anyway, and they escort us out, and she says, "This isn't a bad spot, And I said, "Yeah, it's not bad. It's not the worst place in Ireland. I've been to all the places like this as a child to now." So, and she said, "I wonder would it cost much to stay somewhere like this?" I said, "Well, it doesn't cost anything. You just have to get it, just get a drunk driving offence, or don't pay your TV license maybe." I said, "And you can come in here for free."
Cost the state though.
Yeah.
Man, the TV license thing.
Loughlin House.
The TV, yeah.
It is actually a nice estate. Yeah.
They're lovely until you go to
it's beautiful, and you can walk out of there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was in a gym one time in Crumlin, right? I loved this gym. Like lads doing free weights with their shirts off. Like one lad had a back tattoo of a dog fight, right? And you'd be in the sauna. The sauna was amazing. I saw these really rough looking dudes. And there was a gang of lads talking about the gym in a prison. And they were like, the gym in that jail was amazing. Because if you're going to go to any jail, you go to that jail. The gym is incredible. And they were sitting there having a really in-depth, knowledgeable conversation about the gyms in jails. I sat there in awe, like going, you guys are really interesting. Please don't beat me up. But,
yeah, they're funny. Imagine doing the comedy bingo inside of a prison. That'd be some crack, wouldn't it?
Yeah. It's good crack. Well, Jay could go on his own.
He could go in as the dog.
He'd go in as the dog. Hey, everybody, what are you in for?
Yeah.
And he'd be like, killing a dog. Oh.
He'd be automatically in heat, though.
I'm by choice. But like, TV license thing's really interesting.
Yeah, it is.
What do you think about that? Do you think people should pay? Tell me right now. Tell the world, Philip. This is your opportunity. Should people pay their TV license? Yes or no?
No. No. Kids, don't pay your TV license.
Don't pay your TV license.
Do not pay the TV license.
So for years, right? You know the underdog in comedy, right? So if you're doing a joke that's generally speaking, if you're doing a joke about groups of people, right? You know, I'm not gonna get like woke, man. Hey, I'm gonna be woke. But like, if you're doing jokes about groups of people, you need to make people the winner, right? The underdog in the joke needs to be the winner, and then you can talk about anybody, groups of people and stuff like that. So I was looking for a group of people that I could really sink the boot on, right? So the Clampers were my go-to for ages. And people didn't like it. People didn't like me talking shit.
When you say clampers, how do you mean?
Clampers. You don't know.
Oh, who clamped the cars? Yeah.
Cars, right?
Yeah.
But the TV license, man, open season. You
Open
can say
season.
what you want. I had a joke, right? I'm not going to go into the joke because it was too long and too spiraling. The core element of the joke was that I was a time traveler and I'd go back to time to become a career guidance counselor.
Yeah.
And the first child to tell me they wanted to be a TV license man, I'd blind. They would get roars of laughter. Like if you're talking about TV license man, blinding children is okay. You know?
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to see the TV license man.
I love them YouTube videos about the guys clamping and the fellas coming along then and trying to take off the clamp themselves. And
Oh, yeah.
keeps reminding me of that Homer Simpson episode. I don't know if you remember.
He just drove it home.
Yeah, he just drove it home. The wheel is just tearing.
Yeah.
The clamp is just tearing the side of the car around. It's so funny.
There's a fella in Ballisade did that.
No way.
No, I'm only joking. You're kidding me.
No, you're just making stuff up.
Yeah. I don't know what it's kind of the job, isn't it?
What about the headlines on the papers today? You
Oh,
seen something funny. What was it again?
Not to be sniffed at. Cokezilla. Like the ragtops really go to town on this stuff. Talk about lads losing their job. There you go. But there's about half the country's after losing Christmas. It's not going to be a white Christmas this year.
No. Not to be sniffed at. That was one headline. The other one was Cokezilla?
Cokezilla, yeah.
What was there another one there?
I don't know, but I could probably make up a few.
Just make up one, yeah.
Coke-tastic.
Coke-tastic.
Pepsi's one. Niche 80s joke there. Snow's falling, snow's gone.
Yeah.
Snow joke.
Snow joke.
No joke for the lads. They tried to make for international water.
Yeah.
Man. Imagine being on that boat, man. There was, you know how it was helicopters, where, like SAS style guys coming down ropes, helicopters. It was like something out of like a Tom Cruise movie, except.
When you say SAS style, do you mean our Irish red helicopter?
Yeah.
Was hovering around.
Like special forces kind of.
Yeah, there would be. I wonder would that be like a joint operation, Irish and English?
Funnily enough, I read. Oh yeah, but I read about it. But they made them customs officers they deputized them. I don't know what you call it in the helicopter. They were like, they blessed them and said, right, you're customs officers. Go down and get them.
Okay.
And they would slid down ropes where the lads were trying to make for international waters.
What? So what happened? The storm came.
There's a storm. I I don't know, but they were being tracked anyway. And
Yeah.
everybody's got sonar, so everybody knows where everybody else is.
Yeah.
And they were just rumbled. And they were getting caught. They tried to make for international waters. It was a race against time. And they slid down ropes and arrested everybody. You talk about lads losing their jobs, you know?
Yeah.
You talk about like you got a bunch of sailors singing sea shanties merrily singing sea shanties while mopping the deck or whatever it is that sailors do. And that's it. They're all going to jail forever now. Like forever.
Yeah.
That's not fair, is it?
Yeah. I wonder did they pay their TV license?
I wonder. We'll find out now, surely. They'll be splashed all over the paper for it. Julio and Frediak didn't pay TV license. Brian Tubridy's third child can't have a second Christmas this year.
Yeah, yeah. They're the very guys now.
Ryan Tubridy needs to reconnect with the children of Ireland. You know that? That's what he said in the...
Did he... what's the new thing he's going to go at? What's the new position he's taking?
It's going to be loaded. He's going to make loads of money and go to England. But that's not the point. I've nothing against Ryan Tubridy necessarily. But he definitely got caught with his hand in the biscuit jar, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
So just wanted to ask you, just off topic, who would you like to see on the next podcast?
On this podcast?
Yeah, who would you like to bring on? Because, you know, we're gonna start lining up some people to take on to... they don't have to be comedians. They can be anything. I'm just sitting here having to think, you know?
Okay. Well, first of all is... can we bring people back from the dead? Pele, maybe? We'll get Pele on.
Yeah.
Maradona would be a laugh.
He'd be good crack, wouldn't he?
Considering the topic in the newspaper.
Yeah.
I would have maybe Genghis Khan. Who would you have?
Genghis Khan, yeah.
Well, Margaret Thatcher, controversially.
Margaret Thatcher, I'd put her in the seat.
I don't believe it.
I'd put her in the seat.
Yeah.
And asked her why she made some decisions that she did.
Alf from the 80s.
Winston Churchill.
Churchill.
Well, sure, I'd rather bring back Michael Collins, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Stick him into the seat.
Yeah, Michael Collins' name a devil and say, right, lads, fist fight, and then we'll go for chips. Loser buys the chips, right? I think the big fella would win, you know? Well, next time, I think that we definitely should have a couple of the comedy club people on.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. So,
you know? And then we'll lead up to the big guns. We'll get John in at some stage.
John Cleary.
Of course.
Well, he's in the middle of his tour now, isn't he?
Best time to get him.
Loudon Cleary.
Yeah, he'd be on fire at the minute, you know.
He's been selling out a lot of his tours.
His tours are selling out, and everybody should go and see him because he's absolutely brilliant. Anyone who hasn't seen him is the funniest man in Ireland. Every comedian you ever meet will tell you he's the best practicing stand-up. And after his tour, he'll be too busy in Barbados sleeping on a huge pile of money, surrounded by beautiful people serving him fragrant drinks.
I think John would have a humble answer to that accusation about lying on all the money.
Are you joking me?
Yeah.
No, he wouldn't. He won't come on here unless you give him €5,000. He'd be like, oh, great, Till. Yeah, okay, €5,000. Have it wired over to my Swiss account. I'm like, okay.
I met him shopping there the other day. I was in with Dara, and he's lovely. He always give you the time.
He's a gentleman.
Yeah, he was asking Dara how is he getting on, and
no way.
Yeah, he's a nice fella, John, and you can learn a lot from him. I mean, he makes.
Let's face it, right? John is the kind of guru of our group. He's kind of like we're a year and a half into this kind of comedy club, Sligo Comedy Club, and we'll still refer back to things John said a year ago. Well, John Cleary said,
yeah,
you're standing on my foot, and I was like, oh my God, I wrote that down.
No, he's very good. What I love about him is I love his imitations, and when he's because if his impressions. If he was just saying them jokes, they would be extremely funny, and I think he'd still be selling out. But when he gets up and does the impressions, the leaning against the wall, and the way people look and talk, and the accents, just kills it.
Absolutely brilliant.
Kills it. Absolutely. So when I was a kid, my dad thought that I was going to be a priest.
Did he? Is that because you have a shifty look about you?
I don't know what the reason was, but we were on the way to.
He knew that he just was like, son, you're never going to do a hard day's work. You need to think about it. Hands like that, come on. Them hands is for fucking, for blessing.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to swear in the podcast?
No, you just have. I just don't know if we can hear it, but
I don't think anyone cares. Do they?
no, they're not even going to be listening to it.
It's like me and you listening to it. You're going to be offended by myself swearing. Oh my God, I couldn't believe it.
Terry, is there anything else you wanna go through? You wanna talk about before we go on to? Because I think we're going to be covering some more stuff in episode 3.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? I'm looking forward to the next few episodes. We're going to start discussing some serious topics about what constitutes friendship, starring me and you. No, I don't know. Whatever you want to do.
We'll have some more funny business in the next one.
We'll have some funny business in the next one.
It might be myself and yourself in the next one. Just myself and yourself, but we will. I think it'll be episode 4. We'll be bringing people in.
If we've learned anything from today, is that Philip Steele says to not pay your TV license, and that he wants to be a priest. He's afraid of the work. Broke out. We said work one time, and he broke out in a rash, and he's like, "That no way, I'm off to the priesthood."
Okay. Well, I think at this point, all we can do is thank people for listening. Thanks again to Sports Specific Performance for sponsoring the coffee and the scones for today for me and Terry.
Hey.
Yeah, and for tap to tip.io, tap to donate, tap to tip, who help charitable organisations take money easier for sponsoring the room. And thanks to everybody who's listened. And final words, Terry, you want to close us out on this episode 2?
As He-Man has taught us children of the 80s, is that an enemy is just someone you don't understand.
That's a great place to leave it. Thank you, folks.
Thanks very much.